we have not had a ton of practice over the last month, really 2 months with everybody there. I told our booster group before the game that the last 3 days of practice was the first time that we've had Steve and Joe Reed practicing live, not just playing for the game and prepping, and it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference in terms of getting better. Last week we played 4 games in 8 days, and we didn't have time to get better. And this week we came in, and these guys, they didn't accept. They didn't accept what we were putting on the floor last weekend. And we came in and we worked, and we got better. And we worked on resilience. We worked on grit. We worked on fighting in a good way. We worked on our energy. We watched every minute of the games and watched through our timeouts. And we were not showing the energy from the end of the bench all the way to on the floor when a guy was making a play. And we talk all the time about unselfishness, and you can see from our stat lines, I think somewhere around 65% over the course of this year of our baskets have been assisted baskets. We play unselfishly. Well, we have to be emotionally unselfish, and we showed that tonight. We played for each other. We showed it throughout the course of the game with our energy, and we had talked a ton about transitions during this game, and I don't mean the transition offense, transition D. We mean about you get a foul call that you don't necessarily think fits the play. Well, you got to transition. Next play mentality. We talked about, listen, this team, Denver, is a really, 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 really good team, okay? And they shoot the lights out of it, all right? Their stat sheet is like looking into the sun when you're preparing for them. And, we zoned them, and we took them out of rhythm because they love to run their little patterns, all right? And they're really good at it. And we knew they were going to hit threes, but we talked transitions about, listen, they're going to hit a three. They're going to maybe hit 12 threes, but it's the next play mentality and how we attack on the offensive end, because I believe that scoring is a big part of attacking Denver, because they're going to run so much time off the clock, both offensively and defensively. But I'm really proud of our guys and their effort, the work they put in this week. But I also reminded them that last weekend can come back really quickly. And we got another game on Saturday, and we got to remember the difference in our preparation for Denver and how we played, how we operated in timeouts, how we operated on the bench, how we operated on the floor with our emotions, how we operated, in halftime, and we got to carry that over to the next game.
Coach, you mentioned their shooting ability, and I think they were 41% for three-point range. So in theory, you would think, don't zone a team like that. But why was your zone so effective against them, against such a great shooting team?
I mean, here's what they can really shoot the ball. When you scout them, they are really, really good in their patterns and comfortable in their patterns. And they practice over and over and over again the shots they're going to get out of their man actions. And so when you zone them, the shots are different. They're still getting some open threes, but the passes are coming from different places. They're not they know exactly, their patterns are so exact, so scripted to where they know where it's coming and how comfortable it is. And so we're making them take different shots. So I think just in theory that works, and people get scared a little bit from it. Last year, yesterday morning came in and watched both of last year's games. And in the game here, we're down 14 in the second half, and we were scared of the zone because first half they hit a three, we got in it, got out of it. And then second half, we run it, they hit a three first possession of it. We're scared, we stay in it, we grind out. Next thing you know, they scored on 4 of the 16, but that was 12 stops we got out of it. And so I'm thinking, this can be something we can go to. You also probably like that 5-guard lineup we threw in for a second, too.
For a second.
Yep. And we were going to do that more potentially. South Dakota did that. South Dakota was down 10 and executed. Those guys did a nice job with that. But Denver's going to be a really good team in this league. As of this is going to be a crazy year.
Coach, after the weekend loss, you challenged your returners to step up. Who would you say stepped up to that challenge today, and how so?
I mean, we stepped up as a team. What we talked about. I mean, it goes all the way down to Trevor and Nick at the end of the bench, our walk-ons. I mean, we just didn't feel enough energy, enough emotion on positive plays and negative plays, so everybody stepped up. I mean, statistically, you can look at it. Obviously, Mo had a really nice night. I mean, that's a night that really Mo's capable of every night. I mean, I fully believe he's one of the top 5 guards in this league. All right, he can play like that when he plays with the poise he played with tonight. Max has been playing well recently. I mean, he hit big shots late against IUPUI and then continued that. There's no reason he shouldn't be going 3 for 4 with the good looks he's getting every night from 3. Guys like Isaiah, his numbers don't show up there, but he does so many little things. Like, he was so active, so good in the zone. Same thing with Joe Edwards. But I think his stats don't show it, but Steve Forbes really stepped up tonight. He got a foul on aggressive take to the basket. He didn't put his head down. He jogged to the bench and said, all right, next play. All right, and he came in and he played that way. And you know what that does? It gives your entire team a sense of confidence. Because our guys, they look at each other, particularly those upperclassmen who've been through this. And if they handle themselves well, like pros, like they've been there before, then it makes it easier for the Uris, the Mike Calders, and those guys.
You mentioned Mo and Max. Is it a matter of just keep working, and eventually nights like this will come for those two? Or was there something different in the last few days that kind of turned the page for them? Because they've struggled in shooting this year, but tonight combined 8 of 13. So.
I mean, those guys, they shoot the heck out of the ball in practice every day, and it's the numbers going to play out. Now, those guys got extra time in this week. Like I said, we got practice. We got our legs back. I mean, we had 4 games in 8 days. Our travel this year has been, pretty tough. And the recovery time. And I've played, because of some of the injuries, guys have played heavy minutes. And I'm not saying that to make excuses. These guys got in and they worked this week. And I fully believe the numbers will play out. I'm a numbers guy, like my golf game. I shoot about 110, all right? I can practice all I want. And you know what? Sometimes I'll shoot like 96, but you know what? I'm always going to end up averaging 110. I can't even get a smile out of that, Tom.
You talked after the IPFW game that maybe there were mentally there might have been some problems. Do you feel like in this 3-day stretch between games, as a team, you kind of hit the reset button maybe?
I don't know if it was reset, but we recognized some of our issues. And the reason that we're able to fix it, and we talk about it all the time with our guys, we talk about building equity, okay? And building equity to us is encouraging your teammates, spending time with them off the court. Our Canadian trip, our guys, they have great relationships off the court, okay? But some of our issues there's we weren't showing positive emotions to pick each other up during games, from the bench all the way to the guys who were on the floor. Even when the guys on the floor went to the bench, they weren't picking up the other guys on the floor. And, I think there was more energy in the gym tonight. Now, it helps. You make a couple shots early. It's easier to have that energy. But, it starts with that mentality. And I think we had in once we felt good about our preparation because of practice. And ultimately, you got no chance of getting better if you're not practicing, And we got a good rhythm, and our guys competed this week.
And then you talked about Steve. I think he had 6 points.
Seven points, 5 of 6 from the free throw line.
Yeah, you guys shoot, 55% from the field. Maybe your best all-around game of the season. For him to have so few points, but you guys still have all that production, is that a good thing? Kind of.
Oh yeah.
Show evidence to this team that he doesn't have to do it all.
Yeah, no doubt, because our other guys stepped up when he was out of the game. But you know what doesn't show up for Steve is like people have to prepare for them. You know, Denver changed their starting lineup tonight because Steve was in the game. You know, the Amigo, he hasn't played in like 11 games, and all of a sudden you bring him back and you start him that first game back. Well, he's the one guy with size, and when Steve's in there posting, and you know he's drawing 2 to 3 guys. I mean, the reason we're able to shoot 58% from three is because of Steve, Joe Reed, you know, our post presence in there. I mean, they just draw so much attention. I mean, you know, you're able to skip past and get an open three. I mean, most teams don't get that, not against man.
Isaiah, I don't know if he came back in the game after getting.
He didn't, and I don't, honestly, Tom, I don't know. I don't know what his status is. You know, he was out for tonight, but, I mean, I'm sure he's a tough kid. He'll be back.
And Calhoun didn't play at all. Was it just matchups, or was there something like?
No, nothing wrong. No. He's good to go.